A demo agent is easy to build. Give it a prompt, connect a tool, and let it produce an impressive result. Then operations asks the harder questions. Who approved the action? Where is the audit trail? What happens when it fails? How do we roll it back? That is when a prompt becomes a system. This is lesson 12 in Claude Code Production AI Agents. Today we put the primitive stack together and build the shape of an end-to-end production agent. In lesson 11, we learned that plugins are supply chain. Reusable capability is useful, but only when provenance, permissions, versions, and rollback are visible. Now we combine the pieces from the primitive stack into one workflow. The primitive stack is model, context, tools, hooks, skills, integrations, and governance. The model reasons. Context frames the work. Tools act. Hooks supervise. Skills capture method. Integrations connect systems. Governance decides what is allowed and what must be recorded. The visible artifact is the end-to-end agent architecture. A request enters the system. The agent plans. It reads context. It uses tools. Hooks supervise risky actions. Results return as evidence. A human may approve a boundary crossing. The final output includes an audit trail. Use this checklist before treating the workflow as ready, bounded task, known data, safe tools, human checkpoint. These are not decorative boxes. They are the operating questions that decide whether the agent can be trusted outside a demo. In practice, this example has four parts: inputs, tool calls, outputs, approvals, final decision. The point is to make the agent's work inspectable rather than asking everyone to trust a polished final answer. Use this checklist before treating the workflow as ready. Model calls, tool calls, human review, operational support. These are not decorative boxes. They are the operating questions that decide whether the agent can be trusted outside a demo. Use this checklist before treating the workflow as ready. Dry run, canary, rollback, owner, metrics. These are not decorative boxes. They are the operating questions that decide whether the agent can be trusted outside a demo. Imagine the compliance monitoring agent during a normal workday. It runs against recent changes, identifies policy-relevant files, checks known rules, drafts a short evidence note, and marks uncertain cases for human review. The best part is not that it replaced a person. The best part is that every step is visible. Which inputs were read, which rules matched, which tools ran, and which decisions still needed human judgment. Design the agent around evidence before autonomy. Every production run should preserve the inputs, the rules or skill used, the tool calls, the intermediate findings, the approvals, and the final decision. If the agent cannot explain how it reached the output, the workflow may still be useful as a draft assistant, but it is not ready to be treated as an operational control. Before release, add a gate, run a dry run on historical data, canary the workflow with a small scope, confirm rollback or rejection paths, name the operational owner, decide which metrics matter, false positives, false negatives, review time, cost per run, and incidents avoided. That gate prevents a promising demo from becoming an unmanaged background process. A useful mental model is a control room. There are screens, operators, alarms, runbooks, and escalation paths. The value is not one screen by itself. The value is the operating setup that helps people make safe decisions under pressure. Our worked example is a compliance monitoring agent. It reads source changes, checks them against a policy, drafts evidence, flags risky changes, and asks for approval before posting a final record. The agent does not need broad autonomy. It needs a narrow workflow with strong evidence. The build sequence matters. Start with scope. Define the data boundary. Add read-only tools first. Add hooks around risky actions. Create a skill for the method. Add an eval or review checklist. Run dry runs. Only then decide whether a right action belongs in the workflow. Use the same production readiness rubric from Lesson 05. Is it observable? Can we see the turns and tool calls? Is it reversible? Can we undo or reject the output? Is it evaluable? Can we test quality? Is it governable? Can policy intervene? Is it change controlled? Can we update safely? The common mistake is integrating first and controlling later. Teams connect everything, celebrate the demo, and only then discover that permissions, logging, ownership, and rollback are unclear. Retrofitting controls is harder than designing them early. Let us recap Lesson 12. Build from risk, not from excitement. Add context discipline, safe tools, runtime hooks, reusable skills, governed integrations, evidence trails, and release checks. The full stack is what turns a useful agent into an operating capability. The lesson learned is this: production is architecture, not a prompt. A good prompt can start the journey, but the system around it decides whether the agent can be trusted. Subscribe for Claude Code Production AI Agents. The companion book is linked in the description. In Lesson 13, we decide when to leave the CLI and when the CLI is still the right place to stay.